Let's talk business. The government has committed to implementing key recommendations by the private sector to improve the business environment in the country. And speaking during a workshop on legislative reforms, the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Salim Vuria, acknowledged the need for business reforms to improve the country's economic performance. The workshop, attended by business leaders from the private sector, government and international partners, addressed several critical issues hindering growth. And as Jimmy Mbogo reports, corruption, limited access to capital and high taxation have been pointed out as the biggest concern for investors.
Tax issues as well. And
the two-week stakeholder engagement on legislative reforms in Kenya's business environment has emphasized on the importance of meaningful improvement in the business landscape. Private sector players want the government to streamline the taxation policy for a predictable environment. They have also called for the streamlining of business levies to reduce duplication.
Some of the investors that we speak to talk about unpredictability when it comes to taxation. What are we looking at? We want a long-term national tax policy or a national policy that is going to give investors a plan. If they're coming into the country, they're going to invest. They're looking at long-term, they're looking at 3 years to 5 years, even 10 years, but they know that there's some sort of predictability.
The other thing is about levies and charges. The counties are also imposing a lot of levies. Other ministries or departments within various ministries are also imposing levies. This is causing a lot of unpredictability.
The private sector has also raised concerns over the pending bills, particularly those owed to manufacturers. Tobias Orlando, the CEO of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, says the goal to increase manufacturing output from the current 7% to at least 20% of the GDP and create over 1 million jobs, generating at least 1 trillion in revenue, is pegged on the ability of the sector to access capital, a lot of which is held in VAT refunds and pending bills.
We have a lot of pending bills, those that have supplied. We have a lot of delays in VAT refunds. Statistically, the National Treasury or KRA is allocated about 2.5 billion, while claims go to up to level of 4 billion, leaving a deficit of 1.5 billion. So we need to have a clear conversation on how we can address some of these challenges that affect our manufacturing sector.
The government, on its part, has reassured participants of their commitment to creating a more business-friendly environment. CS Mvuria says the government is focused on achieving Vision 2030's goal of transforming Kenya into a middle-income economy. With increased foreign direct investment and domestic direct investment, he acknowledges the existing barriers such as high energy costs and complex tax structures, pledging that the government would take concrete steps to address these issues, even as they called for collaboration to enhance Kenya's competitiveness.
After this, we'll work on consolidation of all the inputs and prepare a business reforms action plan report with clear agreed issues and an implementation matrix to resolve the issues will be validated by yourselves before presentation to Cabinet and Parliament for consideration.
The way we become globally competitive is not for a mega factory to do everything from procuring raw materials to selling of the final product. The challenge that we have with our market is that we have a lot of major big factories, but there's nobody below them.
Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.